You know, not to get like too edgelord or anything right now, but it's movies like the one that we're reviewing this week that really remind me why I love disturbing cinema sometimes.
It's a Friday once again.
Hello, my fellow freaks, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you have all had a fantastic week. This week's film is one that I have had to reschedule twice now. I think the first time I had initially planned to watch it, I decided to do a bad B movie. I did Killer Sofa. That's what I replaced this with Killer Sofa because I felt like we needed it, and we definitely did. And then the second time I was going to review this was that week that I had to say, hey, no video because I'm sick as fuck. So it is one that I have been very anxiously awaiting talking to you guys about it because I have been planning to watch it like the entire year almost. And I do believe this flick is part of the Disturbing Iceberg, depending on whatever diagram that you're looking at. I think the one I usually look at doesn't have it on there, although it seems like a pretty infamous work. I don't doubt that it would be on some version of the Disturbing Movie Iceberg, and if I'm wrong, well, fuck me. I don't know. But it's been quite a while since we've done any piece of disturbing cinema, so I felt like we were very overdue for one, the same way I felt like we were overdue for something bad, like Killer Sofa. We're very overdue for one, but this is not just another we're covering a disturbing film. It is actually also a viewer recommendation. So thank you very much to Shingorejira, who recommended this film to me after they saw my Girl Hell video, and they thought I would really enjoy this because it is by the same director. And if you guys didn't watch any of my Summer of Disturbing Cinema last year, Girl Hell was my absolute favorite one out of the summer. Like, Girl Hell was the one that I enjoyed the most. I thought it was just a weird Japanese version of a John Waters film. That's how it felt to me. So needless to say, I'm already very interested in the director. I thought, hell yeah, why not? Let's throw in this viewer recommendation and get some more of his cinematography under our belts, if you will. So this week is the long-awaited review for Muzan-E, or Celluloid Nightmares, from 1999 and directed by Daisuke Yamanouchi. Yamanouchi. I hadn't heard of the title Muzan-E before, but the title Celluloid Nightmares sounded very familiar to me. So I had heard of that title before, but I didn't know anything about what it was about. And going into this film, I was expecting it to maybe be like Tumbling Doll of Flesh. Although, like I said, same director as Girl Hell 1999, and where that was my favorite one last summer. Even though I was expecting it to kind of be like Tumbling Doll of Flesh, I still had some very high expectations for this movie. Although I was very surprised to find that when I was kind of skimming other people's reviews of this film after I had watched it, a whole lot of people don't like Muzan-E. And it seems like it receives a lot of negative reviews just because there's not a bunch of torture porn and gore in it. And I also saw a lot of people complaining about the censorship and blurring, which half of it is Japanese pornography standards, half of it actually kind of has purpose to the narrative. And that's all I'll say. It seems like a lot of people who gave this a bad review just didn't like it because it was boring and it wasn't gory enough for them. However, I found myself falling absolutely in love with how narrative driven this film is. And it was also refreshing because instead of it just being like instead of it being like Guinea Pig the Devil's Experiment or August Underground, it actually has a very unique and different plot to it with a fun twist at the end. So let me stop getting ahead of myself and let's just jump right into this discussion of Muzan-E, or Celluloid Nightmares. But first, if you are new here, hi, my name is STARGUTZZZ. Any kind of like running, crashing loud noises that you may hear going on in the background, those are my cats. Also, my movie reviews tend to be more of a discussion of elements that I find to be good or bad about a piece, rather than giving you this full play-by-play of every single little thing that happens. So in other words, I try to refrain from spoilers as much as possible, but they will arise as they pertain to whatever discussion I would like to have with the piece. If you would like to watch Muzan-E - Celluloid Nightmares before or after this review, currently it's not even on Internet Archive. It might be on effed up movies, I haven't checked. If you're new here, I think I've mentioned it before that the one time I tried to use effed up movies, my computer freaked out and was telling me that I had a virus. I don't know, so I've just never gone back. It's not worth it. If you want to go look, you're welcome to. But currently the only place that I know to safely watch Muzan-E is by getting the DVD copy of it through Sloppy Second Sales. Not sponsored, but I will provide a link to that listing in the description below so you can order it and watch Muzan-E - Celluloid Nightmares if you so choose. And if you are a pirate and you find it somewhere online for free instead, congrats. I'm not that brave. Let me also give some content warnings. I mean, it's a piece of disturbing cinema, so obviously there are going to be some content warnings. It's tame compared to other things. Let me just say that. But I feel like it's important. Hey, this is something disturbing. It's going to be it literally like covers snuff. So if you can't handle like disturbing subject matter, I would recommend not looking into this film. And also let me tell you that if you get the copy off of Sloppy Second Sales, as I did, let me also give you a warning that if you are a headphones user, actually this is a warning for the video in general because you're going to hear it through my clip recordings. If you're a headphones user, audio is only going to be coming out of the left ear. There's nothing I can do about that, so yeah. Also, the subtitles don't line up, but more on that later. And with all those pleasantries out of the way, let's talk about Muzan-E. Some years after the mysterious disappearance of AV actress Mei Tsurumi, journalist Kazuyo Fujimori and her team investigate what caused the actress to go missing and the rumors surrounding it. While many in the industry believe she dropped off to lead a more simple and rural lifestyle, as many other AV actresses do, there are rumors of a snuff tape showcasing her final moments. However, when Fujimori and her team discover the tape, they decide to investigate further and find themselves in the middle of their own snuff film. I feel like I'm going to be a real outlier when it comes to reviews of this film because I actually immediately fell in love with it and how narrative driven that it was. Now I am going to be discussing the narrative like a little bit further shortly, but can I just say that I feel like the people who don't enjoy this film are solely just looking for torture porn. They don't actually care about a plot or a story in regards to like disturbing content or disturbing cinema. They just want to see a woman being like and beaten and murdered. I think that's what like the big thing here is that a lot of people probably go into Muzan-E and are expecting something like what's like a bad one, like a Lucifer Valentine film or something. What I'm getting at is I think they're just disappointed it's not gore, torture, and complete shocking edginess the entire time. They have to sit there and actually listen to a plot. Oh no, God forbid my torture porn has a plot. Celluloid Nightmares actually reminded me a whole lot of the Great American Snuff film, which I reviewed I think a little over a year ago now. And it reminded me in the sense that it is a very well shot and very well written, unique narrative concerning the existence of snuff films rather than attempting to be a faux snuff film itself. So it's interesting. There are some ways that we'll get into it too, but there are some ways that it is trying to be convincing and realistic. However, it's not trying to be convincing, realistic snuff itself. It's just, we'll get into it. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I was honestly surprised with how much I enjoyed Muzan-E. Especially because, like I said, I was expecting it to be more like Tumbling Doll of Flesh. I just knew that it had to do with an AV actress and her snuff film. I just knew snuff had to do with it. I didn't know that it was shot in, I'm just gonna say it, I didn't know that it was shot in a mockumentary style. And that's probably part of the reason why I expected it to be like Tumbling Doll of Flesh. But it wasn't like that film literally at all. In fact, I don't know another film that I could compare it to within disturbing cinema. It's just like, it's so uniquely its own. And, oh God, I feel like a bad person that I love it, but I really love this movie. In fact, let's just get into the discussion so I don't have to like stop myself from going into too much detail. Let's talk about Celluloid Nightmares. So just a forewarning, this might be a shorter review. Like The Devil's Experiment, Celluloid Nightmares is only an hour long. So I have a lot that I want to talk about, but compared to other films, it's not like a lot. First of all, I think this is coming at least a very close second to one of my favorite films ever that covers the topic of snuff. I think number one, it might have to be The Great American Snuff Film. I liked that a whole lot, but this is a real contender. This might beat it out over time. I feel like I have to rewatch The Great American Snuff Film to be able to be a better judge, but it's coming pretty close, dude. I really love the narrative here. And as I said, it is a narrative that is very much its own. It's very unique and it stands out from other disturbing cinema. And as I said, it does remind me a little bit of the uniqueness of The Great American Snuff Film. But what made The Great American Snuff Film so unique was that we were following sick individuals as they were planning to make a snuff movie, and then some of them attempting to make it. What makes Muzan-E stand out and be unique from other snuff-centered films is that it is shot in a very convincing mockumentary style. It's shot like it's truly investigating the disappearance of a young girl and the possible snuff tape that might exist of her out there. I think it's very convincing. I know I just said it's not trying to be faux snuff, and that's because it's not trying to be faux snuff. What it's trying to be is a fake documentary concerning the topic of snuff by investigating an AV actress who went missing. The way it's shot is so convincing. It is so convincing. Like, it feels like a real educational video. The actress feels like a real journalist. The people that she interviews, they all feel like real people who are responding to questions that they actually have knowledge about. All of the performers, the way that it's shot, the way that it's edited and paced, everything about it feels genuinely like an educational video. It's so awesome.
さらにこの後、手紙には恐るべき鶴見さん殺害の模様が事細かに記されていきます。
It really reminded me of something that would be on PBS or maybe Sundance. Oh, but PBS wouldn't have any kind of like educational content on snuff tapes. Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure they've done content on like murder cases. So what's the difference? You know what I mean? And as I mentioned, I think the pacing helps a whole lot. You know how like when you're watching a murder documentary, it's slowly unveiling information or pieces of evidence to the audience so as to try and tell the case in a like linear fashion. That's exactly how Muzan-E is paced. I mean, like, God, dude, it is a very convincing. I feel bad. I feel so bad for the people in like 1999 and 2000 who watched this movie because they did probably think it was real. I think by today's standards and also compared to, I think the ending is a little bit of a tip-off that it's not real, in my opinion. However, I feel bad for the people who saw this in 99 or 2000 because I think it is convincing. I think it is a very, very convincing mockumentary style.
見知らぬ他人のプライバシーまで手に入らない情報はないとさえ思える情報過剰社会。しかし一方でさまざまな理由から隠蔽され、私たち一般の人間が知ることのないまま闇から闇へと葬り去られる極秘情報というものが存在します。私たちはそれらの地下情報を独自に取材し、あらゆるタブー、そして報道の限界に挑戦します。
I mean, I already got ahead of myself a little bit, but like the performers are all very natural. They all act like they are retelling true events that they've experienced. Like, it's so good. It's so good, man. I love it. While I think the narrative is already well written and the way that it's shot, especially, it's so effective. I think that's the best word. It's very effective. And while I already love that a whole lot and find it very unique and refreshing within Disturbing cinema, something that I did not see a single person online mention. Not a single person mentioned the ending online. And obviously, I'm not going to tell you the ending because the ending, oh God, it's so good. I'm sorry, this video might just be me just repeating it's so good over and over without giving you any details. But I'm so shocked that in all the reviews and everything, nobody ever mentions the ending. The ending is so incredible. And like, obviously I'm not gonna spoil it, right? I do just want to share that it's a very cool, very unexpected, and a very meta twist at the end that just had my jaw on the floor. Are you guys tired of hearing that I was screaming over something that happened in a movie? I don't care, because I was screaming. I was losing my mind. How does nobody talk about the ending? That shit's fucking tight, dude. It's such a good twist. It is such a good twist. I was already digging the film. I was already like on board with it. I was already in love with it. But when that ending happened, it was just like it amplified it. It really amplified it and turned this into something that I will actually probably rewatch in the future. I feel like there are many disturbing films that like, they're fine, but I don't care to rewatch them, but this is one. The ending pushed me to say yes, this is a film that I will rewatch many times over. How does this have so many bad reviews? How does this have so many bad reviews? It's so good. Although I love how narrative driven this film is, there are a lot of people who don't like it. They do not like this movie. They think that it's very boring and nothing happens and that it's not really disturbing at all, which the disturbing aspect I can get. But as I said, I feel like a lot of the people who don't like this, well, their favorite film is probably a Serbian film. Let's be honest. And as I said, I think the reason is just because there's not enough torture or gore for some people. While this is a disturbing film focused on snuff, there's like hardly any gore in it, or the gore that is there, it's very few and far between. Like it's nothing that's very extreme by today's standards. I would say the time that it came out, it was probably very shocking, and again, at the time it came out, it was probably way more convincing. But if you are going into Muzan-E or Celluloid Nightmares expecting to feel sick to your stomach or expecting to feel super disturbed, don't. It is truly super narrative driven, very focused on actually having a plot rather than just being torture porn, which I applaud it for. So if you're concerned about that, if you want to watch this but you're concerned about that aspect, I think Terrifier has more extreme or intense moments in this film. In fact, I'm willing to say that even Saw is more intense in the torture department than Muzan-E is. If it sounds interesting but you're not really into like the torture porn stuff, don't worry. It has it in there, but it's not the focus of the film. And to some people, this is a big downside. To me, I don't really care. This isn't something that I personally minded, because I think having a disturbing film take such a different approach to the snuff narrative, and yes, it's trying to be real and convincing, but it's not trying to be real convincing snuff. It's focused on the topic of snuff instead. It's just like, man, it's just like refreshing. Once you start watching so much disturbing cinema, especially ones that are focused on snuff, this is so refreshing. This is so nice, and it has me so stoked to have a film about snuff that has a plot and isn't just torture porn. Nothing against torture porn. I'm not trying to be a prude, but I am just saying it's very refreshing. I feel like Muzan-E is what disturbing cinema should be. Something that still has like a real plot or a real narrative to it, but it dives into the taboo subjects. You know, it shouldn't just be like, oh, me and my friends are making a fake snuff film. Me and a girl that I'm abusing on the internet are making a fake snuff film. I don't know, just forgive me for liking a plot. What can I say? I assume that Muzan-E got its infamy as a disturbing film because of the very convincing mockumentary style, and as I said, I feel so bad for the motherfuckers who watched this in 1999 or 2000. Charlie Sheen would think this is real. By today's standards, I do understand why someone would watch it and think that it sucks or think that it's not disturbing, because, like, compared to mainstream horror, it's not as intense as things that we watch now. So, like, I get it. I'm not gonna be upset because you don't think it's disturbing, but can you at least watch it and acknowledge, like, hey, this is a really cool narrative? I think the only thing that is remotely disturbing about Muzan-E, or that people would find disturbing about it, is its use of period blood. There are quite a few moments where, so like the AV actress that goes missing, her fame in the AV industry is because she does like minstrel videos, and she's been in like 8 of them. And we see some of hers, and we see some of like another actress doing minstrel videos. So like I think to some people minstrel blood would be considered disturbing because for some reason that's the line that we draw. I know that I don't go into spoilers, but I will tell you specifically what happens. For those of you who have morbid curiosity but don't actually want to watch it, you want to know, but you don't want to know, you know what I mean? One of the things that happens is that a girl has a tampon put in her mouth and she's made to like eat it, which I've already seen that before. I was in middle school when Giovanna Plowman ate her tampon, so I seen it, whatever. But I don't want to call this my favorite part, but it's a moment that I think is funny because of the reviews that I skimmed. It's the one that like made people the most uncomfortable. There is a moment where we're watching footage of Mei Surumi in one of her videos, and the guy that she's doing the video with is, I'm so sorry for how graphic this is to some of you. My dad watches these videos, but I have to share it with you. She's on her period, obviously, and he is eating her out, but when he's eating her out, he is like sucking the blood out of her and turning to the side and spitting it out, and he just like does that over and over. I thought it was funny. A lot of other people think that it's disgusting and disturbing. To each their own. I think because I'm a girl, the period stuff just doesn't faze me. Yeah, I deal with that every month. It's just, I don't care. But I do think it's really funny that everybody loves blood and loves gore until it's period blood. We all love blood until it's coming out of a pussy. Honestly, I'm gonna talk about the period more. Honestly, I loved the period blood representation. Hell yeah. I think women having periods and people who are grossed out by women having periods, I don't think it's utilized enough. Watching this film really makes me realize we are not utilizing this nearly enough. Especially in our like gross out content or gross out films or media. It's treated as if it's going too far, you know? We can have shit, we can have piss, we can have vomit, but we draw the line at periods. We're drawing the line at periods. That's too far. It's like male frontal nudity in a mainstream movie. It's too far. We can't do that. We can't show that. Bitch, whatever, I think not. Thank you, Daisuke Yamanuchi, for being a girl's girl and giving us period representation. Love it. I mean, genuinely, for me, Celluloid Nightmares only had one downside to it, and the downside that I'm about to mention doesn't even have anything to do with the movie anyway. It just has to do with my copy of the movie. And by the way, this is absolutely no shade to Sloppy Second Sales. I love this company a lot. They provide a lot of media that is very hard to find. They are a fantastic company. But I am about to mention the subtitles for my copy. I don't think it's Sloppy Second Sales' fault. I think that this is just the best version of the film available. Sloppy Second Sales didn't do the subtitles. In fact, at the end, it credits who does. It's a certain website that did the subtitles. I just think this is the best copy available on the internet that they have now used. It's not their fault. The issue is, and man, my first watch especially, it was so aggravating to try and work through this. In this copy, the subtitles are about 10 seconds. I think that's what I counted. It was about 10 seconds ahead of what it was supposed to line up with. But you know what? Play an example.
こんにちは、藤森和代です。この度は JVD 制作のオリジナルドキュメントビデオ「無残絵」をレンタルしていただきありがとうございます。
So I found it really aggravating, really distracting and annoying to have moments where like there's dialogue on the screen but we're actually looking at B-roll, or it can also be really easy to lose track of who is saying what things in an interview because the subtitles are 10 seconds ahead from what we're actually seeing.
そういうわけでは。
いや俺のビデオ見てさ、そういうことは逆に踏みとどまるやつの方が多いと思うけどね。あ、知ってる？中国ってさ、日本より性犯罪多いんだよ。ポルノないからさ。今取材中だろ?
So, oh god, it gave me such a migraine. And still, even when I rewatched it before recording this, like, it's hard. It's hard to manage. I think it's worth it, but if you can find a version of it where the subtitles are not messed up, please do that. That's the one and only downside, is that I was just really aggravated and upset that the subtitles did not sync up with what was actually happening on the screen, and it could get like confusing. But again, this isn't something that has to do with the movie itself. It just has to do with my copy of the movie. It's something that got under my skin, but because it isn't something that has to do with the movie itself, just my version of it, I do recognize that it doesn't affect how good or bad the movie is. Somebody just fucked up the subs, you know? At least they're correct, at least they're coherent, at least they're there at all, because I saw some reviews of people who reviewed this and didn't even have subtitles. So at least I have them and they're coherent. That's all, you know, that's all you can really ask for, right? When it comes to the movies like this, hey, beggars can't be choosers. Although I don't doubt that there are better or official versions of Muzan-E where the subtitles are fixed. Whenever I went to buy this, Sloppy Second Sales was like the only option available to me at that time. If that has changed now, if there is like, I know it used to be on Amazon, but I think when I went to order this, it was no longer on Amazon. A better version could be on Amazon now. Please let me know. Please let me know if there is some kind of official DVD for Muzan-E, or if there is like now a new version of it. I wouldn't be surprised if Massacre Video has it. You know why? Because when I did Girl Hell 1999, I had a viewer, a very kind viewer. Thank you. I wish I could remember your username right now. But they informed me that Massacre Video did a special limited run Blu-ray edition of Girl Hell 1999 with improved video quality, improved subtitles, and it includes an interview from Daisuke. And as soon as they told me that, I went and I got it because I fucking love Girl Hell 1999. Yes, I want the special edition Blu-ray copy with an interview from the director and better subtitles. Yes. So if that exists for Muzan-E, please tell me and I will immediately order it upon seeing your comment. I would very much love to watch Celluloid Nightmares with subtitles that actually sync up with what's happening on the screen. But yeah, that's the only downside that I had. That's the only thing that aggravated me about it or that I didn't like about it. And it doesn't even have to do with the movie. It just has to do with my copy. Overall, I honestly think that Celluloid Nightmares or Muzan-E, I think it just has a lot of unfair reviews online solely because it's not the most disturbing or shocking or graphic piece of disturbing cinema out there. There are a lot of people who found it really boring because it's narrative driven. However, I personally just immediately fell in love with it because of how narrative driven that it is. I mean, when we're getting into disturbing cinema, I feel like having something with a good narrative or a good plot, it's very few and far between. It's very hard to come by. So I found Muzan-E to be a very unique piece of disturbing cinema because it's not just focused on being shocking. It's not just focused on being torture porn. It actually has a plot and a narrative. There is a piece of my heart right now that really wants to call this film a masterpiece because that is how I feel about it. I love the mockumentary style, along with it being centered around like an AV actress potentially having a snuff video out there and then just like what comes out of that. It's very unique, but it's simple. And sometimes simple is better. Like, less is more, you know? And as I said, the mockumentary style, I found it to be very effective. No, the film is not filled to the brim with like torture and gore, but when it does get used, it is something that's prevalent to the plot, and it's not just like random acts of violence like some disturbing films do. And as I said in the intro, Muzan-E truly is a disturbing film that makes me remember why I love disturbing cinema so much sometimes. Just because something is disturbing cinema doesn't mean that I automatically love it, but it's films like this where it feels like there's actual effort being used towards it, or there's actual like thought and creativity behind it. Man, it really is just like what makes me love disturbing cinema so much. Films like this. And I think at this point, it is becoming very obvious that I am a Daisuke fan. I love Girl Hell 1999. I now am absolutely in love with Muzan-E. I think the only Daisuke film that I haven't watched at this point is Red Room 1 and 2. And don't worry, that will be coming. 100%. Because I've only seen 2 of his films so far. I'm obsessed with both of them. I think I'm a fan. So if you are somebody who enjoys like a film that is surrounding taboo subjects such as snuff films, but isn't trying to be one or isn't trying to be too edgy, then I highly recommend Muzan-E - Celluloid Nightmares. This was like such a perfect balance of real movie with taboo subjects in there. It just like, God, I highly recommend this. I really, really highly recommend this. It is a crime that it is not easier for people to watch this movie. Although, like I said, if you're somebody who is just looking for a bunch of gore, a bunch of torture porn, and like mindless graphic violence, then yeah, you're gonna be bored by this. I think I have vaguely sung the praises of Muzan-E enough for this video. So, what tier will I be putting Muzan-E at? I don't know. I feel a little bit wrong. I feel a little bit wrong for doing this, but at the same time, I did literally just rewatch this before recording so that I could be refreshed on what the film is. And you know what? I stand by this tier. I don't even care. I'm not even ashamed. Muzan-E - Celluloid Nightmares is going into the A tier, bitch! Bitch, this is such an A tier movie. Oh my God. I think potentially, if I get a version where the subtitles are synced up with what's happening on the screen, dude, I might consider putting this at S tier in the future. That is how much I love this movie. It's so good. It's so good in my opinion. I cannot believe people hate this as much as they do. God, go watch it. God, go and watch it. Easy A tier. Very, 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 very close to being S tier in my opinion. I very much enjoyed this. I desperately want a better copy of this. Like, you guys don't even understand. I need this movie on VHS. I just do. I need it on VHS. And with that, we are done with yet another movie review. Thank you guys so much if you stuck around all the way until the very end. And another thank you to Shingorejira for giving me this recommendation. If you like this video, please make sure that you stab that like button. It is a free and easy way to help support this channel. Also, is there a film that you would like to hear my opinion on? Put it down in the comments and maybe it'll show up in a future video. Also, did you like my little rambling about Muzan-E so much that you want to hear me ramble about more disturbing cinema, bad movies, B-movies, hidden gems on Tubi, fantasy films? This summer we're going to be covering a bunch of trauma films, so if you like trauma, stick around for that. If you just want to hear me ramble about more movies in general, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell icon so you can be notified every time I make a new upload. Which new uploads are every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and on the screen are some of my socials as well. If you are in dire need of some more STARGUTZZZ content, I do have a live channel right here. All of the former lives are saved on there so you can watch them at your leisure. We will also be going live tonight, probably doing some art. I have an art idea. We're probably going to be doing art. And I'll probably be going live around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now for one final thank you so much to all of you who stuck around until the very end. Our time here is precious. And the fact that you used your time to sit here and listen to me basically fangirl over a mockumentary about snuff, thank you. It means the world to me. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time and the time that you spent to watch this video. Just thank you. If I do not see you in tonight's live stream, then I will see you in the next video. But until then, please have a great night and stay safe out there.
このビデオを見てくれた皆さんの中からそれぞれ1名様に前の